Evening, everybody. So we are, let's see, make sure everything is working. Okay, you can hear me. So today is 1,677, right? No, 1,767 days since Richard was forcibly taken from his barracks room and his life taken from him because he was a whistleblower, because he was not compromised. And this is really important in our steps forward, because there were false documents that were approved and that gave the wrong narrative. And this is a huge violation. You know, when you start going through the law, it really provides everything to us. You just need to learn it, right? You just need to learn it. Here we are almost at 5 years, and we've been learning so much. So you just have to be patient because there's so much mutiny. Really, there's so much mutiny going on that and I don't know if I'm right calling it mutiny. I think when it comes to General Mealy, I'm absolutely right calling it mutiny. It's absolutely treason. But the point that I'm trying to make is that you have individuals in their positions that are not doing their job. They're not doing their duty. I think that's the right way to put it. They're not doing their duty, what's outlined in their job description. They are using their position to either be a con person. You wouldn't believe how many people are con people. They're just con artists. They're just using their position, abusing the resources that are given to them in their position to conduct their criminal activity. And they just think it's theirs. They just think it's theirs. But this is, they're not doing their duty, and they have abused their position, and they're up to no good for personal gain, for absolutely personal gain. And it could be, all different types of things that they're getting from it. So let's see if I'm on. And it's been pretty shocking, but I think that you see that with what's going on in Ukraine, and our senator, Senator Graham, who to me, I think it was said today, interviewing Chris Cuomo. Can you believe it? And Chris Cuomo was a little bit, defending the actions of Senator Graham and against Steve Bannon. And Steve Bannon, absolutely MAGA, right? Steve Bannon is MAGA, was saying that Senator Graham should have his passport revoked and not even allowed to come back into the country, or be arrested. And, Chris Cuomo, who, he's Mr. Walmart false narrative guy, right? He absolutely went to go visit Ernest Christopher Grant, like I think on the 4th or the 5th of August in 2019, to push the El Paso Strong false narrative of the white supremacy, really to target President Trump in the election. I mean, he's so dirty, Chris Cuomo is. He's so dirty, he's so political, and, I'm sorry, but that Walmart mass shooting was so orchestrated, bloody orchestration, for a political narrative, for political gain to absolutely tamper with an election, um, to interfere with an election. And Chris Cuomo was part of it. Um, and Ernest Christopher Grant, who they're ghosting so bad right now. Try to look him up. He's just was this used for this narrative, for this horrible false narrative that went out there, and they still have it out there. And it's really disgusting and it's absolutely false. And we know it's false because the evidence confirms that what they were doing is false. And so, what were they doing? Committing crimes. That's what they were doing. They were committing crimes, the media manipulation crimes, right? And they're very serious. And so now Chris Cuomo is with Steve Bannon. I couldn't even believe that he's with Steve Bannon, um, and trying to defend Senator Graham for this really huge suspicion that he provided information for this huge act of violence. Again, act of violence, right? Again, act of violence. These are people that will resort to act of violence to protect their criminal cabal. And absolutely, this whole criminal trafficking goes way up into New York and New Jersey, absolutely Pennsylvania. It goes up there, y'all, and it's so bad. Um, and I don't know what motivates Chris Cuomo, but he's up to no good. He's absolutely up to no good. And the same thing with Lindsey Graham, our senator. He does not care about um, our service members, our soldiers, our men on the front line, our whistleblowers, our military bases. He does not care about them. And he absolutely will put them at war. He will put them on the front line, you know. And this is what he did, is fomenting huge, huge war. And he's not going to get in a uniform and fight it. He's not going to get behind the drones. He's just wants to use taxpayer money to, manipulate it, to funnel it. And of course, it's for personal gain. That's it. It's for personal gain. I can tell you firsthand, because he's our senator, that he's absolutely up to no good. The worst type of up to no good, the worst type. So I then uh, corroborate what Steve Bannon is saying, that this is very, very dangerous. What's going on? It's so dangerous that it's mutiny, right? It's like mutiny, because it is absolutely working against the President of the United States, the Commander in Chief of the United States, the Chief Law Enforcer of the United States, the Chief Magistrate of the United States. It's absolutely working against President Trump. And I would say it's a mutiny, it really is. And there's so many, of course, you have what's going on in Mexico as a result of these kind of policies, and open border, and not protecting, and not letting this criminal trafficking grow so big, right? They let this grow and grow and grow. They let it grow. They let it happen. And so now, you can't just, even though the spigots have been turned off, they just they're clever. They have lots of money. They will find a way to do this criminal trafficking. And so this is a real challenge right now, a huge challenge. And we are absolutely getting amazing support and amazing um, green flags to go forward with Richard's case. We're getting the green flags to go forward with Richard's case, and of course, that's what we're all about, is moving forward to get accountability and to hold those um, that did this, took Richard's life, to hold them accountable. Richard absolutely was a whistleblower. So he has, there's other avenues that we can go um, and use for this. And and I'm very, very grateful for that. So, because they were absolutely retaliating against whistleblowers, and this Richard's case is absolutely the retaliation of the most severe, the severe kind against a whistleblower, and then a cover up of it, and the cover up is also severe. So, and very costly to the American people. It was very costly to the American people. And that's why it's a crime against the United States of America, because you're having to pay for this kind of criminal activity because they use and abuse their positions and their purses that are filled with American taxpayer money, and they use it badly, and they use it for cover-ups and to protect their own interests and criminal activity. So, and you see that with Lieutenant General Sean Bernabe. You see that with Nidal Baem. You see that with the Hart family. You see, and Leilani Hart absolutely needs to be um, arrested. Absolutely. I mean, she's a convicted criminal, and she has the confessions. They absolutely need to arrest her. So there's really some good news going forward too from the Western District of Texas, the Attorney General's office. Margaret Leachman is now gone. Margaret Leachman was working with Jaime Esparza, and that was not a good thing. Jaime Esparza was not a good thing. He was, left. He had so many conflicts of interest, and they let him stay on the Walmart mass shooting case as the district attorney for the 34th Judicial District, because the sister was at the Walmart and called him up, and he went there, and he walked the scene before it was secure, which tampered with the crime scene. And you saw that the crime scene was being so tampered with in the videos, right? You see that. So that is, when he retired and Yvonne Rosales took office, they pulled him out of retirement for the AG of the Western District. And that was a Biden appointee. He was a Biden appointee. And so when President Trump came in, it took a little bit, but he did step down. And Margaret Leachman was the interim. And Margaret Leachman is, we weren't too happy about that because, it's the same old protection. So now she's gone. So this is a positive development for us, because we need dependable prosecutors in our son's case. And that's why James Montoya, like Leilani Hart, needs to be arrested for his 2028, right? 2028 stamp, James Montoya. So we're working. There's so many things that are going on in El Paso that need to be addressed. And we are very busy writing it all down, recording it, and filing it because El Pasoans just cannot be used and abused any longer like they are. It's so bad. It's so bad how El Pasoans just have to pay these huge property taxes. And then you don't even have a DA. You don't even have a legal medical examiner. Yet the illegal and unqualified medical examiner is getting over 430,000 a year. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for not even qualifying for the position. So El Pasoans are, being grand theft larceny against, right? It's grand theft larceny. So we are constantly, because when you have a case like Richard's that is tied into the Julio Cordero El Paso ISD case, and of course, Operation Poison Ponds, and then you have the Walmart mass shooting tied into this, and then Richard's cartel-tied criminal trafficking tied up all in this. You need good prosecutors, and you need a good judicial system there in El Paso. So, this is it is very, very personal to us, but we hope that in our personal endeavor, we can also help so many others in El Paso. And that's why we ask for you to share our information, share what we have been telling you, and even you can even vet it. You can vet what we're saying about the El Paso Criminal Law Magistrate Court, that they're supposed to be elected judges, not these illegitimate ones that we have right now, but that they're supposed to be elected judges since 2015. 2015, El Pasoans have been conned out of and disenfranchised out of voting for these judges, very important judges, because there wouldn't be this situation with the illegal immigration if you had uh, um, elected judges. I really believe that. Um, they would be much, much more loyal to the law by being elected. And they have full jurisdiction. So, of course, the power goes to the people. The power goes to the people when the power is so big. And so, you can absolutely pass that information around. We have constantly. That's very important. The chief medical examiner being illegal and unqualified, you can pass that around. The Bill Hicks being a usurper and even hiring for his chief of staff a cartel-tied total criminal, indicted criminal that they just waived the background check and here gave him access to all these cases and information to Luis Rene Diaz. I mean, that's craziness, absolutely criminal. And then, of course, Bill Hicks wasn't even a legitimate DA because he failed to install properly. He didn't want to sign that anti-bribe line, right? He didn't want anyone snooping around finding out that he didn't turn that in properly. Um, and then of course James Montoya, the same thing, right? Mr. 2028 stamp, not a legal prosecutor, not legally installed in his office, and yet he's impersonating a judicial officer, right? He's impersonating an officer, a district attorney. I mean, that's so criminal. So he needs to absolutely be arrested. And then we need to have a legitimate district attorney, prosecutor in that position so that we can get justice for Richard and everyone else can have legitimate cases, right? Can have legitimate cases. So that really needs to be passed around. And of course, the DoD and what's going on Fort Bliss and all the changes that are being made by by President Trump, by Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth is very, very good for us. Very good. And so we're rushing around like mad, um, really, uh, writing it all down, documenting everything, editing it. You know, you have to edit it, and then sending it in and going on record. And we just received just a wonderful responses, um, just amazing responses, and even a response from our amicus brief that went with the Annunciation House with Attorney General uh, Ken Paxton, who is now going to run for the Senate seat of Senator Cornyn, who rightly needs to be, in a different job. Senator Cornyn needs to be in a different job. So it is really, um, good that Ken Paxton is running for that Senate seat. And, so we're very patient and we are filing. And, the times are, even though it seems to be so chaotic and with all this talk of war and them trying to start something, they're going to try to start something because they're losing grip on their ability to maneuver the population so that they can be allowed to continue their criminal trafficking with impunity. They're losing their grip. People are seeing it. People are noticing it, and so the whole tone, the whole way forward has really, really changed for the better, for good, for us, um, because people are sick and tired of of the abuse of power. Absolutely. So I just want to say thank you to everybody, and I will be back. Please share, 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 and I will be back tomorrow, God willing. Bye bye.